Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have 3 stories for you from the Malicious Compliance subreddit. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from Sponiac94. You demand that we honor your reservation? Sure thing. A few years back, I worked at one of the big car rentals in a rather small city in Germany. We had 2 offices, one in the outskirts with quite a sizable lot, and a very small one at the train station. 4 official parking spots in front of the office, about 6 parking spots at the other end of the train station at the staff parking lot we used to not get in trouble for using parking spots we didn't pay for. That one was a bit of a prestige thing, because it enabled us to serve our business customers right when they got off the train. Both offices worked closely together, even sharing a vehicle pool within the booking software, and we were expected to move the cars around accordingly. The business at the train station followed a pattern that would repeat every week. Every Monday, business customers would arrive by train, pick up their car to get to their clients during the week, and drop them off by the end of the week to leave by train again. Most would drop the car off on Thursday. One week, we could already see disaster approaching by the middle of the previous week. Due to some error in the booking software and some cars spontaneously not returning to our offices, our carpool stood at -60 for Monday at the train station office. See, that's not unusual on a Monday. The problem was that overall, our shared carpool stood at -15. Since we are quite small and only a franchise of the car rental company, there was no way we could get extra cars from bigger stations. So we started trying to reach out to business customers to inform them that we most likely couldn't serve all reservations, and if we could maybe cancel on them. Some understood, while some insisted, and even more were not available when we tried to contact them. On Friday, my supervisor asked me if I could cover the shift at the train station office on Monday, because she knew the colleague who was supposed to would mentally break if yelled at by customers. I knew it would be hell, but knowing that she would have the morning shift at the main office, we were sure we could make it work somehow. I asked to also work on Sunday at the train station office to make sure all cars were ready for the next day, since we had around 70 reservations between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. that day. So I worked my Sunday shift, got everything prepared as far as I could, and went home. On Monday, we opened at 6 a.m. I got in at 5:30 like always, and there was already a small line queued up in front of the door. I told them we don't open until 6, and they accepted it. Everything went sort of smoothly until about 8:30 a.m. All my cars were gone, and I received a somewhat steady supply of cars from the main office until then. I constantly kept my supervisor updated with a list of my reservations and which cars from the main office I'd like to have for that, and she tried to make it work. Then she calls to tell me that she is also out of cars due to some having to be off-fleeted due to mileage or simply not returning. I knew everything would go to shambles after that and mentally prepared for it. I started telling customers that we couldn't possibly serve their reservations. Most understood due to the fact that I didn't have any cars in front of my office, but a few insisted that they get their cars. Cue Malicious Compliance. I called my supervisor and told her that some clients insisted on getting a move on, now, and no matter how. After some short venting on her side, we came up with an idea. We might not have any cars anymore, but had an incredible excess of moving vans, Mercedes Sprinters, Volkswagen Crafters and such, that we didn't really need any of. Now, the train station office isn't supposed to rent out vans, but we found a workaround for that. The transfer drivers had a company car that could be rented out, so I checked it in at my station, created the rental agreement with that, switched my view to the main office, and initiated a vehicle switch, all without ever having a physical car at my station. So the rental agreement was completed and the transfer drivers started bringing our white company branded moving vans down to my office. I even told one especially insistent customer that I was able to fulfill his wish for an automatic transmission diesel. I will never forget the look on the face of this suit wearer when he realized he will be driving in a moving van to his client. The train station office satisfaction rating took quite the beating after this, but we didn't really care about that since we rarely got bonuses down there anyway. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Ekoto1. It says, I'm going to disagree here. If there's a reservation, it should be honored. Yes, sometimes that might be physically impossible if people are returning cars late. But I think it should be law that if a reservation can't be maintained by rental cars or overnight lodging, they have to reimburse the customer 150% of the value. Too many places plan poorly or leverage their fleet to the hilt without any thoughts for a buffer in case things go badly, because they can just refuse to honor reservations. This story and the comment that we just read shows that this industry isn't properly regulated, because I agree, if you have a reservation, that means there should be a car there for you. Barring a couple that don't get returned, whatever, but a car company renting out cars to people should have enough cars for their reservations, or just not take the reservations in the first place. That built-in buffer should be there. This commenter is correct. This story comes to us from Gas Prono Mib. Want to beat the crap out of your own car? Well, okay then. This is more malicious non-objection than malicious compliance, since my compliance consisted mostly of not stopping the idiot doing this stupid thing, albeit at his own request. But there's no such subreddit, so I'll have to post it here. A few weeks ago, I found myself parked next to a car that was, as far as I could tell, identical to mine. Same make, Subaru, model, Outback, color, muddy green. And probably same year, although I'm not an expert. Close enough, probably. It's a popular car. I pass them all the time. My car has a largest parking lot ding on the driver's side rear door panel. No idea how it got there. Probably some kid opened his door a little too quickly or forcefully, and it smacked into my car. These things happen. No need to get worked up about it. I'd been meaning to get it fixed, and I'm a little sorry that I didn't do it because it would have saved the idiot a lot of grief. Self-inflicted grief to be sure, but still. Enter the idiot. Bog standard middle American dad. Nothing special about him. We're both exiting the Walmart with full carts, and he's about 100 feet ahead of me. As we approach, I'm thinking it looks like he's heading in the same direction. I even plan on jokingly saying, "Nice car," in Subaru solidarity. But I will not get that opportunity. I should mention here that I've already clicked my clicker to unlock the car. It'll be important later. Kinda wish I hadn't, to be honest. That would have spared the idiot some grief too. This is the point where the idiot notices the large ding on his car's door, and he takes offense at that. To be fair, that ding is pretty ugly. The paint is gone where the tip or something from whatever hit it was centered, and there's a scratch leading off to one side. I think it kinda looks like a spoon in the middle of a small, shallow cereal bowl. So anyway, he gets really mad, like screaming things like, "Son of a bee," and "It's an effing brand new car," and stuff. I think he looked up at the windshield, hoping to find a note or something, but this all happened so fast that my brain might be making up details to fit into the blank spots. I've actually slowed down a bit by now because it's uncomfortable being around really pissed off people. And to be honest, I was super confused about what was going on. For a second, I actually forgot which car was whose. It didn't make sense for him to be hopping mad about my car having a dent. I think my brain was going, wow, two exactly same cars getting huge parking lot dings in them? What are the odds? But you know that weird twisting feeling where you reorient yourself from the confusion and snap back to reality? That happened. I realized that he had made the same mistake that I made, and so I did what anyone would naturally do. I called out, "Hey, it's okay, that's my car," which backfired spectacularly. The idiot must have thought that I meant, "That's my car door that smacked into yours," which only made him madder. He started yelling things like, "What the F?" and more of, "It's an effing brand new car," and more of the same. I tried to explain, not exactly easy from a distance and definitely a lot harder when someone is raging at you. And that's when he opened the driver's side rear door on my car, the one with the large ding, and then he slammed it into his car, hard. It made a dent. Took a little paint off the edge of my door too, but I didn't notice that until later. So at that point I yelled, "Hey, stop that," which only made him more upset, because he responded with, "Oh, you don't like that? Shut the F up," or words to that effect. I'm paraphrasing here. So I guess in a nutshell, that's my malicious compliance. I did exactly what he said. Shut the F up and let him slam my car door into his car a couple more times. And I let him try to kick it too. There wasn't enough room between the two cars for a good Chuck Norris roundhouse, so he had to be satisfied with a weak sauce knee to the rear quarter panel. But kudos for trying, idiot. You gave it your best shot. I wish I was some kind of heroic Viking warrior who could come to the defense of his property. But my flabby butt wimpy dad bod isn't up to a fight in a Walmart parking lot, so I backed my cart full of ice cream and frozen tater tots right the F out of there and started booking it back to the Walmart, intending to ask for help from a security guard. I sincerely regret that because I did not get to see the moment when the scales fell from the idiot's eyes and he realized that he had been beating the crap out of his own car. I can only imagine that it was one of the most epic epiphanies of his angry life. And to compound my disappointment, he exited the parking lot in the opposite direction, preventing me from seeing the extent of damage he had done. I didn't get to applaud either. This whole episode took maybe 5 minutes tops, probably less. But aside from a little lost paint on the edge of my door that was probably going to have to be replaced anyway, I was fine. Him, not so much. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Kolonausu. It says, imagine him having to tell his wife what happened too. The next commenter, SSN's Forever, said, oh, he told his wife the truth. Someone else's car door was opened and hit our new car. You know, he could take that one a little bit further and just say, yeah, some idiot opened their door into our car, because he is an idiot and he'd still be telling the truth. I respect OP for not getting confrontational and going back to find a security guard. I'm just disappointed that the guy left before OP got back, because I kinda wanted to see how that played out. Oh well. This story comes to us from Anna120. Karen wants her breakfast. I work at a hotel. I'm on the graveyard shift and we have a continental breakfast from 6 to 9. And my shift ends at 7. So I'm in charge of setting up the breakfast. It's not a big deal. It's a smallish hotel and a small breakfast. But we do have waffles and a couple of waffle makers. Basically, guests come in, they get their batter out of a dispenser and make their waffles so they're fresh and hot. We have 2 seasons where I live, winter and construction season. And we get work crews that stay at the hotel on the boss's dime and then go out for whatever job they're working on. And we very frequently get this one crew of guys. They're great guys. They're polite and don't leave the breakfast room a mess, but their shift starts super early in the morning. We also get hunters who are in and out before 6, so I usually have everything set up by 5:30 for them. I say usually because I'm only human. Sometimes I'm running late, it happens, but I'm never more than 5 minutes after 6. The workers and the hunters are super chill about it. They get it and don't complain about waiting a couple of extra minutes. I also feel the need to add that the foreman is amongst them, so he's eating when they are. So one day I'm running a little late. I got caught up with what I was doing and kinda lost track of time. So I was rushing to get everything set up while the guys are patiently waiting in the lobby. In enters Karen, who sees the time, sees the breakfast isn't ready, and decides to yell at me for it, saying that the sign says breakfast is from 6 to 9 and should be started exactly at 6. I tried to keep working while talking to her so I could get the breakfast ready, but she decided that was rude. So I had to stop what I was doing and stand there with her yelling at me until she ran out of breath, and I could finish setting up. Karen complains to the manager. I get a verbal warning that I have to have breakfast open by 6, as I was about 15 minutes behind because Karen was yelling at me when I would have been less than 4 if she'd let me effing finish. Well, Karen was a stayover and she was in the next day before 6. The manager refunded part of her stay under guest satisfaction, and I think she was hoping to find me doing something wrong so she could get another refund. But I was on my game and had everything set up by 5:30 like usual. She came in before the workers and saw me sitting at the front desk and sneered about me being lazy when I should be setting up breakfast. I told her the breakfast was already ready to go as the construction workers are entering. but I stand and walk over to block the doorway to the breakfast room and told them that I couldn't let them in because the manager said I had to start the breakfast at exactly 6 o'clock. So I couldn't let them back until then. And as I'm saying this, I'm looking directly at Karen. Slowly, heads turn, and Karen goes red and mutters something about coming back later and leaves. So I let the guys back. They said it was funny, and like I said, the workers have had to wait a little after 6 before with no problems, and the foreman was there. To be clear, if I thought this stunt was going to cost them their breakfast, I never would have done it, but I knew that wasn't going to be a problem. I didn't see Karen again, so either she didn't come back or she returned after I left. But either way, I didn't hear another word from the manager about it. You want your breakfast at 6, you're gonna get your breakfast at 6. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Stabmaster. It says, "Yes ma'am, I understand the frustration. I would have been done more than 10 minutes ago, but it seems like getting your word in was more important than getting the breakfast ready. I understand that people are worried about losing their jobs if they speak their mind to the customer, but there's gotta be some kind of exception when a Karen is causing a problem like this. If we don't let the Karen know that they're causing a problem and that there's consequences for that, they're going to continue to do that. This customer is always right thing, it's absolute bullcrap. Karen needs to be put in her place because I don't think anybody's ever told her no before."